Have you heard the story of the Nobody Writer? Let me tell you all about it. Welcome to Writing and Wellness, the Halloween episodes. Charlie here has joined me for this video because it is a tragic story and I needed a little emotional support. The Nobody Writer is a tragic story of a very talented writer, very creative, who was unable to finish her stories because she was constantly listening to the critic in the back of her head. She would get going on the story and then the critic would start chattering away about how terrible it was, how this chapter didn't fit with that chapter, how the beginning was really dull, and how anyone who ever read this story was going to think it was trash and wonder why she ever thought it was anything at all. So the poor Nobody Writer never finished what she was working on. She would start on a new story instead and end up in the same position again when her inner critic started in with all of his criticisms. The poor Nobody Writer, you see, felt like a big nobody. Our poor Nobody Writer was constantly comparing herself to all the best-selling writers that everybody knows and saying, oh, well, look at how many best-selling books they have, and oh dear, I will never reach such success as that. Oh dear, oh, I'm sorry, but poor Charlie was getting a little emotional there hearing the story. He needs to go recover. I will continue. Our poor Nobody Writer expected immediate success, you see. She had this idea that a true writer would be able to sit down, write a story, send it out, and have it published to great acclaim. She had this mistaken idea that most of the wonderful stories she had read were penned by just this sort of writer, this magical being who was able to just sit down and spill out on the page this amazing story and then send it out and sit back and have her little glass of wine. So our Nobody Writer was constantly comparing herself to this imagined fairy writer who had this instant success and believing that if she didn't experience the same, then obviously something was wrong, most likely that she did not have the talent she thought she might have. Discouraged by the lack of immediate success, our poor Nobody Writer withdraws from the writing and the publishing world and once again feels like a big nobody. Because of all these thoughts and feelings about what the writing life was really like, our poor Nobody Writer started to live in a sort of isolated cave as far as her writing and publishing activities were concerned. She certainly wasn't working on building an author platform or finding more readers. So over time, our poor Nobody Writer started to fade into nothingness. Soon our Nobody Writer, who had for so long felt like nobody, began to become nobody. Before long, people could no longer see her. When her family checked on her, they couldn't find her at home, even though she was there. Our poor Nobody Writer had truly become nobody. Charlie wants to know what the moral of this story is. You see, the Nobody Writer was somebody to begin with. It was only through her own actions that she became a Nobody Writer. I warn you about this, dearie, because I see many writers out there who are following in the Nobody Writer's footsteps. They believe what the inner critic tells them. They compare themselves unfairly to the famous writers that we all know. They expect immediate success, and when they don't get it, why, they feel that it's because they're not good enough and maybe they should give up. The nobody writer took every step away from becoming the writer she could have become. If she had turned around and taken the opposite approach, she would have had the success that she sought. It is all in what the writer believes. I hope this video will help you to not follow in the nobody writer's footsteps. You are somebody, but trust me, dearie, you have to believe it first before anyone else will.